Look at it came in the mail. I already opened it. I was a little excited, but I opened it and I'm very excited. I always watch videos and I'm like, you know what, can I just see the ending? Like, I want to see the finished product. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward to this project being done, and then we'll rewind and come back to right now where I install these things. So here it is. This is what I got. I got 2 swing-away benches for my bar stool. These things are on little swing-a-majiggies, and they fit nice. So I reached out to this company, which is benchcrafted.com, to see if they wanted to send me out 2 of these to install and then do like a little promo video. But I received this in response. Good afternoon, Dan. We discussed your proposal at our meeting this morning. Our company policy is that we don't provide product free of charge in exchange for advertising. It's always been that way. Yes, we realize it's good exposure for us to be featured on your channel, but it's also good for your content. Honestly, I'm not going to be making $600 on this video. That's not going to happen unless it gets a million views. So that's good. So good thing I've got content, and it keeps both parties from feeling obligated to one another. Oh, so I'm not obligated to you. Okay. All right. Well, this will be a fun video. But they are pretty cool. I did get them at benchcrafted.com. They're insanely expensive. I do want to say thank you to my Patreon supporters. I used this month's Patreon earnings to purchase these. Each metal bench is $200. The wood top is an additional $50. So $250, that's $500 plus tax and the shipping. It was like $560. These bolts right here, I had to get them from another website. Those were $20 for, it was $5 each. It was like $1 each, but shipping was way more than the actual bolt. So I think it was just under $600 I spent on these, but I'm very happy with them. My original goal was to have these fold into each other like this, but as you'll see in this video, that I wasn't able to do it. But this is good enough for me. This still allows me to use this space as a workable desk. And I know some of you are going to be saying, is it strong enough? Yep, it's strong enough. I weigh too much, and it's holding me. Very nice looking. I'm impressed with them. Not impressed with the price, though. It was their first round of making them, and so there was probably a startup cost that they had to cover. So, you know, I'm paying more than it probably is going to end up being in the future. But I will, unfortunately, leave a link for their website down below if you guys want to pick these up. And if you don't, then just email them and say you were going to buy one, but then you didn't support Dan, so we're not going to support you. Just kidding. Don't do that. I mean, it's so much better than this. These things are cheap. They fall. They break. I've already broken one of the legs off of it. Not the legs, but the diagonals right here. Which one goes better with the aesthetics? That one. Once I do the trim, oh, baby. So let's get into this video, and I'll show you the whole process I did to install these things. So, yeah. The swing away bench. Absolutely amazing. Did I talk about how much it costs? Did I talk about not getting sponsored? Did I talk about my Patreon supporters being the true heroes in this video? Good. As long as all those things got talked about, then I'm fine. Did I shit on the company severely? I mean, I don't feel bad. It's against their policy. Well, it's against my policy to talk good about shitty products. I mean, I might like it a lot. So when you order the swing away bench, it comes with a wall bracket. It comes with the bracket that connects into that, and then you can, for an extra $50, you can get the bench top. I think it's called quarter sawn oak, but that's not quarter sawn. It's okay, bench crafted. Just paid $50 for a round piece of wood. Am I stupid? No. See, today's one of those days I get really drunk. Because it's so hot, I keep drinking. Thinking it's like water, but it's not. It also comes with these pegs to connect into this thing. You see how this is fat and this is thin? Fat, fat, thin, fat, thin. This is how it goes. Not like this. Bench crafted. A lot of your pictures online showing this thing, it's upside down. Please. Please fix it. Because people use those pictures for installation because there's no instructions. Why would there be instructions? I already lost the screws. Wish these screws were black. Split. I dare you to. Remember that part where they said You know, that way you don't feel obligated. Well, I'm not going to then. 2 3/4, 2 5/8. You're an 1/8 inch off on center there, bud. At least you did the grain the right way. No, you didn't. This can crack off. The grain's running this way. Should run this way. As far as I'm concerned. Man, that's tiny compared to that, eh? Woo! Daniel, be nice. A little Ziploc baggie. I can use that for later, hey? Not really, because I don't put anything in Ziploc bags. Unfortunately, I can't. Stay. Right here. I was reading the reviews online, and some people were like, can you just sell the wall mounting bracket? And then there's people that are like, just buy an extra unit. At $250, I would assume that I'm the only person in the history of this that has purchased 2. Holy cow, $500? Oh, I took it. Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh. That way you don't feel obligated. So I'm going to use this bench as like as a reference, you know, to figure out the spacing. I should have probably got the other bench too. You got to figure, one's going to go right there, and the other needs to be a little bit more over. And remember, I'm a big guy. I'm short, but I'm round. And the other needs to go like right here, one right here, and then one right here. You know what? We might as well go right on that stud, and then we just have to add some blocks in there. Next thing is the height. It's going to be like that high. One of the reasons I bought this is because, you know, you might have seen at the beginning of the video, unless it was a complete failure, was that I want them to fold into each other and take up less space. You know, if one folds like that, yeah, no, you're wet dreaming it, bud. You'd have to put one lower, like Dubro was saying. One here, and fold this one down, and that doesn't work. Theory does not work. Wouldn't that have been cool if they did a little whoop-de-whoop and they took up very little space? We need to raise this one up that much. No way. There's no way. Because the radius on the bottom. Cut it off. We're not cutting anything off of these. Do you remember? I said they were 250. God almighty. Holy cow. Could it be any hotter? Damn! Daniel! Don't worry. It's only $250. Good thing it's not your money, Dan. Again, thank you Patreon supporters for buying these for me. It's very nice. It's a very, very nice gift. Drop it one more time and I'll beat your ass. See, it's not like I'm mounting this on a workbench where it's just like, but that's where it goes, done. I got 2 that I gotta kind of work together. Can I drop it just one more time? I feel like that would be ideal if I could. I saw some chunks come off. Oh, it was my floor. Oh my God. Good height. Just that's honestly the best we're gonna get, which isn't bad. Like, so obviously I'm not gonna be able to do what I wanted to do and make them fold into each other, but you know, that's really not bad. You can still use this space without having benches in your way. And then when you want to use them, they're there. This one's going to be over about 2 more inches. Alright, I'm going to cut some 2x4 blocks and screw the shit. Dan, why didn't you make them yourself with some metal? I could have, but I just felt these were cool looking. On your next run, you should put your label on both sides. Because you can only see it here. I'm not advertising. Good thing I don't feel obligated to do that. So I took a picture of what I had and I posted on the Instagrams and the Facebooks. Hey, if you're not following me on Instagram or Facebook, check them out. The links are in the description. But I was working on a post for that and I realized, you know, I was writing it and I was like, you know, somebody's going to comment, you know, you should do this, do this, do this. And I'm like, you know what, I should try to do it. So to combat some of the negativity. So I dropped one by 2 inches so that they would fold into each other. You seeing what they do now? But I don't think that's much better. What I was thinking is the way it was before, kind of like that. This one moved in more, but I could stand here and I could use this as a standing desk for a computer. Because I do want to mount a computer screen here that folds out and a dock for my laptop so I can video edit right up in here. Cool idea, right? maybe, dreaming, I know. That was my original plan, is to have that do that, but it's not, there's no reason for that. It doesn't, I think this is just as good. Oh God, I hate making decisions like this that are gonna affect my life forever. Like, they're gonna ultimately negatively affect my life. And then I'm gonna turn to drugs and alcohol to cope with my problems. I'll end up in rehab. My mother will disown me.
Daniel, I have already disowned you. You are no longer part of the family. Daniel, why don't you invite me up to see your house?
Mom, because I live in a fucking shed.
Daniel, it's okay. It's okay, Daniel. I live in $1 million mansion, okay? I won't judge you.
Mom, I want you to see it when it's done.
Daniel?
These are conversations that I actually have with my mother.
Daniel, when are you going to meet a nice girl? Or a nice boy? I'm not judging you. It's okay if you're gay, Daniel.
Oh, I'm not gay.
Just be honest, okay? Jesus will like you a little bit more.
Mom, I'm not religious that much. I just pray to win the lottery.
Your grandmother would not approve of that.
Is it a problem that I drink alone? I mean, you know, I'm kind of not really drinking alone. I'm drinking with you. Just a little splash more for my homeboys. I mean, I'm pretty good at physics, and the only way to really make this work is to cut this out so this seat goes into the wall, which will forever scare any woman that sits down here. They'll be like, "What's that hole? I'm not sitting there. There's a hole. There's gonna be spiders in there." Don't like spiders. They're scary. They can bite you and kill you. Yeah, did you hear about that guy who got bit by a spider and died yesterday? What a horrible way to go.
Actually, Dan, spiders can kill you. Their venom, if they're bitten in the correct location, can cause fatalities. Shut up.
Sorry, I don't mean to be mean. You know, I'm just an asshole. We're going with this. Numbers we need to know. 10 3/4 down from the top to the top of the bracket. 12 inches over from this wall to the center of the hole. This one's going to be 30 3/4. So I'm going to put corresponding blocks on here so I got something good to connect into. I'm just going to nail a block here. If I was going to put this into the center somewhere, I would take 2x6s and do them on the flat and put them in here. I'd do 2 with a piece of 1/2 inch between, and then 2 with a piece of 1/2 inch between. So boom and boom, and I would secure it really good, because you got to think you're putting you're putting your weight on this, so you want it to be strong. Benchcraft, when they sell these things, they don't sell it with the mounting hardware to mount it in. It's a liability thing. I totally get it. So you have to order them separate. There was a website. What's that anvil thing? Black? Shoot. That word I just wrote on the bottom of the screen, that's where I bought these from. They're the square head. Pretty nice. I think I got 5 inch, which is way overdone. I think a lot of people use 3.5, but that's usually depending on what they're screwed into. I figured I would go with this because I have the, oh God, I hope I do. I might have to cut the ends off a little bit, but might as well go big, you know? That's what the girls say when they come over to my house. And then they leave. Maybe they're talking about my house. It's tiny. So I could do the white boards right here, but I figured, you know, it'd be cool if I did that same wall right there, right here. Kind of bring that over into here. Plus, you're going to be sitting here, so your feet might touch this wall. So I figured white would be bad here because it'll eventually get dirty. So I will eventually put it in a, like, what's that called? A footrest out of some steel down there. But oh God, that's so loud. I watched a documentary the other day about meth and like what the high's like. I was like, man, that stuff sounds good. The guy was like, I took a huge hit of meth once and I came in my pants. I'm like, are you serious? Like, that sounds great. But then, you know, you really think about meth and you're like, you know what? That's probably not a good idea. When I fell off a roof and broke my back, they gave me like 100 Oxycontin or something. Like, it was something ridiculous. And I maybe took about 30 of them. And then I was like, you know what, screw that. I'm just going to sit at the kitchen table all day with a peace pipe, we'll call it. I just hung out and did puzzles and smoked from my peace pipe all day. And I didn't develop an addiction to heroin. So I am very pro marijuana. Peanut, what are you doing? Or you're just gonna breathe into the microphone? Aren't you? You smell weird. Like you don't? You smell funky-ish. Probably should have checked to make sure I was gonna fit. Yeah, it's not. So you see what I did there? I drilled holes through this stud, which really is not that crucial. So I could get good screws from this block into here. This right here is a huge 3/4, maybe 5/8 inch threaded rod, all thread, that goes here, like all the way down to the joists that are on this. It's stronger than a 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws into the stud that's tied into the top plate, into the bottom plate. I got this all thread rod over here, which this is strong. My screw's gonna go basically right through the center of these two studs, or my bolt, my lag bolt. So I feel like I'm gonna be strong enough. So I had one extra sheet of that 1/4 inch plywood with the black on it, so I'm gonna put that on there, and then we'll do some barn wood maybe. Come on, bud, let's go. Come on, you wanna go? Oh, I'm coming, you wanna go? We're not going. I was tricking you. You are such a jerk. I'm gonna pee in your bed now. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Was kind of like say like, hey, this is where the studs are. Now that wire that I have running through this is in the center of the 2x4, so it's 1 3/4 inches back, and I'm using 1 1/4 inch, 1 5/8. But basically, there's no way I can hit that wire unless I overdrive this screw. Except for right there. Felt a little electric shock. Might be. I kind of feel like I didn't. What am I trying to say? I have words in my head that I kind of want to formulate into sentences, but it's very difficult for me. But yes, I feel like I copped out. What does that even mean? Copped out? I feel like the video that I did about the accent wall was pretty like shitty. Like what? Damn, this sucked. 36 3/4. I want my first piece to be a solid piece across, and it needs to be at least 2 inches thick because I'm going to be putting that metal baseboard trim like you've seen probably in previous videos. So I got a piece that's 3 inches wide, so that's perfect. Square up the end, 36 3/4. This first piece will be the easiest piece I do. I'm just gonna check this, make sure, see it's 2 3/4, 2 7/8, 2 15/16. So I'm gonna rip it. I've got the raw edge, that rough edge. We're not gonna call it factory edge, but basically that's what it came like. I want that. This has been cut. I don't want that. So I'm going to put this side against the fence and rip it. So like all the wood on the accent wall, there's two sides, you know. You got this really like rustic-y looking one, and then you've got more of this what's that called? Something sawn. Skip sawn marks in this one. Not a fan of that, more of a fan of that. So that is going to be my exposed side. Give it a quick blow job. Daniel. That is inappropriate. Now I want this edge to be perfectly straight because I'm just putting a piece of 5 inch wide, 1/4 inch thick steel on this to cap the end of that and make it, to trim it out basically. So I want this to be literally like a 30-second past the end of this. And I'm just using 2.5 inch trim nails. I believe they are 16 gauge, so they're plenty. I want there to be depth on each piece. If I have pieces that are flush with each other, I'm going to take my power planer and I'm going to plane the back of them and bring this so it's just jagged in and out and then all over the place. Just like that wall. You can't really see it because I'm living in shambles, but yeah. All those pieces are like in and out, they're staggered. It's just absolutely crazy. Unique New York. So when I'm cutting my pieces, I'm always cutting them bigger, and then I'm like working them down into where they gotta go. So like I've got, you know, these pieces are nailed in. I was happy with them, but I always like to like, these are all loose, you know? I like to kind of do as much as I can until they start falling over. And I kind of want, oh God, oh geez. I kind of want it to look something like this. You know? Oh God. But I want this to end in a straight line, I think. So, I'm good with these two pieces. This one, I like the width of it. Can you see it? Yeah, I like the width of this one. This one I want to shrink down a little bit. So what I'm going to do is go like this. Just keep screwing up the life. So I'm going to put this like that. So this way I can get my width for this top piece, which will end up going back down there. But push everything tight, take my utility knife, sink it into the wood so I get a good reference point, and we'll go rip it, and then we gotta cut some more. So I got that ripped, so that should equal that. It does. Now I want these two pieces to be the same length. So I'm gonna take them to the saw and cut them at the same length. The white piece. I really wish I had some red. You see the depth that it does? Like this is almost a 1/2 inch back. I like that. See, I got a cut on this side. I can hide that cut by putting it down. No one's really gonna see that, right? So these three are good. I gotta cut that one again. So push this. Put this in here. Put that like that. Whenever possible, I'm trying to get into the stud. It's gonna be a lot stronger. When I'm putting these trim nails in, I'm putting them in on angles like this. If I'm not hitting a stud, I really want some better holding. So if I go like this into some 1/4 inch plywood, it's gonna be much harder to pull the piece off. Utility knife is great for marking lengths and stuff. So I just put a little mark there. I can take that to the saw. And again, cut. See, I kind of screwed up. When I did the utility knife thing, I kind of like went a little buck wild, but character flaws. Goes in like that. Put that character flaw in there. You won't really see it. This is looking pretty over here. I could have shaved some off the back of this one to kind of give this one a little bit more of a texture, depth or whatever, but I think it's going to be alright. One thing I'm going to have a problem with is that bracket I'm hanging is going to be flat. I'm going to have to do some technical type stuff to make it work, but I've got a plan. I don't nail stuff down until I'm like really happy with how it's looking. And I would like to do the whole thing without nailing a single piece, and then I can pluck and whatever. But it's good. You just keep at it, and it ends up looking pretty cool after it's done. My computer isn't really great, so I can't do time lapse. I would love to set it up and show you guys time lapse stuff, but my computer's not good. I am saving money for a new computer, so I can give you guys some really cool videos, better editing software, all that stuff. Basically, my YouTube money that I get every month is on hold right now until I reach a certain dollar amount, and then I'm going to get a fat check. But it's going to be about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years. I think the last clip you saw was I was doing this section right here. But you can see there's no like real running lines that go forever. The only pattern that I could see was this right here, where it goes boom, 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 boom. Other than that, it's pretty cool. So most of the wood that's on this is pine, which is a real soft wood. So if I were to mount this bracket, which is flat on the back, if I were to mount it on here, I feel like over time it's going to push into it on the bottom. It's going to end up tilting down. So I wanted to add an extra piece of steel. So I cut some 2-inch steel, a little bit bigger. It ended up just being a freaking like an 1/8 inch wider. But I gave it enough around the edges. Whatever this reveal was on the sides, I gave it the same reveal on top and the bottom. And then I drilled the 1/2 inch hole. And then I took the measurements that I had taken earlier and transferred them onto here. It was like 11 3/4 down, and then I went to the center, put this piece on here, and I took my utility knife and I scored around it. This way I can get this to sit perfectly flat. Because there's dips and waves and all this stuff, I needed to notch all this out to get this to sit flat. So I'm ready to mount these in. It should be relatively easy. I don't know why I didn't hit anything. I really should have hit something solid. There's no easy way to fix that. What did I do wrong? How did I not hit anything? That's not good. Alright, well, moving forward. So I'm going to use an impact gun to put these in. Obviously this is not square, so I'm going to be gentle with it. And then when it gets real tight, I'll switch over to a hand-operated thingy. We need to go back and watch video on what happened there, because that's extremely bad. Like, really bad. And it is even my red piece. Like, I wanted a red piece so bad, and I found one. Oh my god. So I went back and watched what I did, and I was stupid. definitely was stupid. That extra piece of wood that I put in here, this block thing that was here stops like right here, and then that stud continues on up. Show a quick picture. You seeing it? So this bolt is on the side of that piece that's sticking up right there. So what I had to do was drill this in on an angle which is all cattywomp-ass crooked, but I feel like it's gonna fix itself in a second here. It's gonna pull it in, hopefully. Oh, cow, it's so on there, like, holy cow. I mean, you can't really tell that I screwed up there, but that's strong. I'll trust that with my life. I kind of feel like sometimes if I didn't make videos, would I pay attention better? But then I've also noticed that making the videos has its benefits when I'm watching it back later, being like, oh, there's a mistake there. Do you dare sit on it? I mean, I guess that's what they're for. Holy cow. That's sketchy. I'll tell you, you gotta make sure it's perfectly straight up and down, otherwise, because this one's a little off. Definitely need a footrest right there. Boom. Anyone who likes physics or is an engineer, this doesn't make sense, but it's actually pretty good. That's out of the way enough for me. Would you stop? You working? I'm always working. If I've never not been working, I'm always working. If you consider drinking working, then yes, I'm working all the time. Or are you ignoring me again? Both. Okay, that's a little excessive. If I do have future problems with this, what I can do is put a larger piece of steel behind there. I do have some 5-inch wide stuff, but I can cut it down to like 3 or 4 inches. And I could put that in behind it, and then I could move this thing over as much as I want and then center it on that 4-inch piece. And it would still look good, and I would connect in better. But I feel like this is good. I mean, I weigh a lot, okay? Benchcrafted on their website says that they didn't do any tests on it, but they said your weakest point is obviously going to be your fastener into your wall or into your bench or whatever you put it on. And this is good. Was it worth the money? I'm not quite sure. So I still have a bunch of work to do here. I got to do the trim around the baseboard. That end needs to be trimmed. This needs to be trimmed, and then countertop. I'll be ready for countertop, and this will be pretty much done. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Roll that outro.